You're listening to Greater Good Radio Hawaii. Please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. Today's guest is retired Navy Captain Jerry Coffey, a keynote speaker, author, and media commentator. Beyond being an inspirational speaker, Captain Coffey is also involved in many community organizations. Are you able to share with us a little bit about the involvement that you have in the community and some of the organizations that you're involved in?
I'd be glad to, Carrie. And one of the reasons that I'm here is that I believe so much in what the two of you are doing for our community and emphasizing the importance of coordination among business people to the name of your radio, Greater Good Radio. I mean, it says it all right there. Sometimes we forget about the greater good, quote unquote, because we get so wrapped up in our own little unique Manini business issues. But everybody doesn't have the luxury of doing that because sometimes business is just darn tough and you don't have time for community involvement. And I recognize that. I'm lucky to have reached a point in my career where I do have more time now. And I've been the chairman of the Governor's Civil Defense Advisory Council. And I've been active in the City and County of Honolulu Charter Commission as one of the commissioners in the last several months as we winnow through the recommendations for changes to the charter and the changes that will go on the ballot in November, for example. And that's been a very challenging but also gratifying endeavor. I'm a very strong advocate of Boy Scouts of America. I don't have very many regrets in my life, but one was that I didn't stay a Boy Scout long enough to make Eagle. I got one rank away, and then I learned about girls, I guess. My interest changed at the wrong time. But I really, really admire the Boy Scouts of America, what they stand for, and the kind of young men and women, in Girl Scouts' case, that they turn out. You know, really good, solid citizens for our country. I eagerly speak to civic organizations and Rotary, Kiwanis, Elks Clubs, things like that, you know, to help people understand the importance of community involvement. And that, when I speak, I talk about faith in ourselves, one another, faith in our country, America, and faith in God. And the faith in one another is where we communicate with each other and solve problems together by coming together as a civic organization where we get involved. And, you know, as an aside, it's good networking for business too. But nevertheless, the primary motivation has to be for the good of the community. And then everything good accrues from that.
Why are you involved with these things, though? Why is it important to you? And then why is it important for you to work with these community organizations in Hawaii?
Well, Hawaii is my home in the first place. As I just wrote in a column recently, you know, I love Hawaii. I've been here for 32 years, and I live here by choice. I'm a kama'ana by choice, so to speak. And, you know, just like when I lived in California, born and raised in California, I call myself a Californian, but now I'm in Hawaii, so I'm a Hawaiian. Of Hawaii, not a native Hawaiian, obviously, but I'm of Hawaii now. And so I choose to live here. And I love the community. I love the aloha spirit. I love the culture. I love the language and the music. And I just wouldn't want to live anywhere else if I could help it. So that's one of the reasons that I try to be active in the community, to help improve wherever I can. I feel a responsibility as well, to the old thing, to much is given, many is requested. That's paraphrase, but you know, if you have the means to give back and to be involved, then I think you should. And I'm also the Civil Defense Advisory Council is very important to me because I take seriously the terrorist threat to our country and to our community, particularly to Honolulu right now. And I fear that too many people still have their heads in the sand. They're in denial about what we really face in our war against Islamo-fascist terrorism, and to make sure that our community is safe and that our readiness level is maintained at a high level, and that people are informed about their needs in a disaster or an emergency situation. I was very gratified that the governor also shares that feeling and just has devoted much of our surplus recently to upgrading the shelters that are necessary, and even going so far as to learning the lesson from Katrina and making space for people's pets in the shelters as well. So it's because I feel so deeply for my community and for Hawaii and for our country, America, and the threats that are posed to both entities through international terrorism. It makes me want to be involved that much more. It's love. It's through love.
And then lastly, in closing off, maybe you can share with us something inspirational for our listeners out there. Everyone thinks they go through hard times, but there's always something to take them through it. Maybe you can share a personal thing.
Well, one of the things that always inspired me there in the prison environment was the way that we try to take good care of each other. And when the man in the cell next to you was down and hurting, being punished for whatever the reason, maybe his ankles were locked in the ankle stocks at the foot of his concrete slab and his hands were manacled behind him, and been like that for 4 or 5 weeks, you'd get up to your wall frequently and you'd tap to him, which is GB, and that means God bless. And he knew that that also meant, be tough, babe, hang in there. I love you, and I'm praying for you. And you bet you were. And then each night when things would quiet down before you go to sleep, you'd tap to the guy in the next cell. GN. Good night. God bless. God bless you. GBA. God bless America. Every single night. That kind of trust and faith and care in one another.
Thanks for joining us today on Greater Good Radio. For more information or a transcript of today's show, please visit us online at greatergoodradio.com. This is your host, Evan Leong and Carrie Leong, saying please join us next time for another episode of Greater Good Radio, Hawaii.